Alright, let's talk about some more shit. Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list and welcome to my top 10 worst movies of the 2000s. Yes, as you saw in my last video when I did the top 10 worst movies of the decade, now it's time for the 2000s turn. Yes, this is the top 10 worst movies in my opinion of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2009. Again, this is a completely subjective opinion, but this is what I think are the worst movies that came out during the 2000s era. So yeah, let's get to it, shall we? Here's my top 10 worst movies of the 2000s. And for our top 10 list, you gotta have your dishonorable mentions. And my dishonorable mentions are House of Wax, The Happening, Alone in the Dark, Pearl Harbor, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch, Cat in the Hat, Fantastic Four, and Halloween Resurrection. All shitty ass movies. Just could be the top 10 list, but what made my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is The Wicker Man. Yes, not the bees, not the bees. Ah, my eyes. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. I love Nicolas Cage. I love how ridiculously over the top Nicolas Cage is. This movie's fucking awful. This movie is so stupid. And it's a remake of a great classic horror movie with Christopher Lee, The Wicker Man. Such a great movie. This one is a comedy. And it's a horror movie, but it's a comedy. It's fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. There's a scene with Nicolas Cage dressed as a bear punching a girl in the face. Oh my god. Sister Peach. Sister Peach. These women are the most dumbest characters, and they're all for women empowerment, but none of them know how to fight, and none of them know what they're doing half the time. Nicolas Cage is even like, what the fuck's happening? Even he does really stupid decisions. The beginning of this movie makes no sense. They keep bringing up in flashbacks. It makes no sense. And yeah, Nicolas Cage, man, he is just awful in this movie. Just god-awful. And that ending with the bees, I'm like, oh my god, this is just ridiculous. It's not scary. It's not at all scary. It's horribly edited, horribly directed. And again, it's a disgrace to a classic movie that is an awesome movie. The original Wicker Man, such a great film. This one is a great comedy, but as a horror movie, it's one of the worst ever, and hands down one of the worst movies of the 2000s. Coming in number 9 is Geely. Geely, oh my god, why Martin Brest? Why Ben Affleck? Like, why does this movie exist? This is just awful. This movie is directed by Martin Brest. Martin Brest is an amazing filmmaker. He did Scent of a Woman and Beverly Hills Cop. Now Geely as well, oh, this movie is a terrible comedy. It has the benefit, yes, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez when they're together. They're both awful, this movie. For two people that were together during the time period, they have no chemistry in this movie. This movie tries to be this crude comedy, crime movie, this suave movie. It fails at everything. It fails at writing, direction, comedy, sense of humor, likable characters. Nothing about this movie works. Justin Bartha's in this movie. He's terrible. Everyone's terrible in this movie. This movie itself is one of the worst comedies ever made. It's awful. Coming number 8 is From Justin to Kelly. Yes, From Justin to Kelly. I don't know whose idea this was. Yeah, let's get the two people from American Idol and put them in a movie. As much as Kelly Clarkson is a great singer, she's a great performer, she is no actress. In this movie, that Justin guy, again, he is no actor. This is a horrible teen romance musical with horrible musical numbers, the most stereotypical, cliched characters, and just, yeah, there's nothing great, but nothing good about this movie. There's nothing likable or enjoyable or fun about this movie. The musical numbers are all awful, just awful. The story is beyond pretentious, beyond predictable, and cliched. The two lead performances are awful. No one in this movie can act. Nothing about this movie is interesting. This movie's for nobody. It's one of the worst movies ever. Coming number 7 is Catwoman. Yes, Catwoman. Why? Why would they make a Catwoman movie that's got nothing to do with the Catwoman story? They got Halle Berry as the fucking lead role. She won a Razzie for this. The same year she won an Oscar for Monsters Ball. Like, how does that happen? She's a great actress. She's a terrible actress. She's a great actress. She's a terrible actress. Thank God she played Storm in X-Men, so she actually played a good hero. This movie's awful. She is just terrible. I don't know what this story is. This story makes no sense. It's got nothing to do with anything in the comic books. There's no Batman or anything. You got Sharon Stone and Benjamin Pratt in the movie for some stupid, ridiculous reason. Halle Berry's awful. The costume looks awful. The action is awful. The cinematography is awful. The visual effects are an absolute joke. This is hands down one of the worst superhero movies out there and one of the worst of the 2000s. Coming number 6 is Freddy Got Fingered. Freddy Got Fingered, again, one of the worst comedies ever made. Tom Green. Tom Green's not that funny. I'm sorry. He's not a funny guy. He's not a funny comedian. Sure, he has a few funny scenes in Road Trip, but even that movie's not even all that funny. This movie's unbearable. Him carrying a movie is like Pauly Shore carrying a movie. It's just not gonna happen. It's not funny. It's not well directed. There's no clever jokes. There's no clever idea or premise or story. This is just one of the worst comedies ever. This movie is more unbearable to watch than a Geely, and that's saying something. Coming number 5 is The Marine. Yes, The Marine. This has John Cena. Apparently Trainwreck is the only movie he could actually do a good job in. Yeah, all his movies suck. 12 rounds and all that stuff. Terrible. But it all started with The Marine. The Marine is one of the most ridiculous action movies I have ever seen. The story is stupid. The idea is stupid. The lead character is beyond bland and one note. But everything that happens in this movie is so dumb and ridiculous. This character goes through so much, and I have no idea how he doesn't die. There's people firing machine gun bullets at him. He has a bulletproof vest protecting his face. That's all it's protecting him from a bajillion machine guns. There's the scene when a guy shoots a machine gun at him, and he hides behind this pole that's like this thin. Like, how is that protecting him? He literally survives like 9 explosions. He survives a sledgehammer to the ribs and the head. I'm like, what? He holds his breath for like 50 minutes. He falls off a cliff. He gets his ass kicked throughout the whole movie, and by the end of the movie, he has not a scratch on him. The realism of this movie is just captivating, and yeah, the acting is horrible, the story is so cliched, it's this typical cliched action movie. Man kidnaps man's wife, man has to get his wife back. He has a particular set of skills and stuff, he's a Marine and stuff, and because he's a Marine, apparently he's a fucking superhero. This movie's awful. I hate this movie, it's so ridiculous. You can laugh at how ridiculous it is, but it's ridiculous. Coming number 4 is Battlefield Earth. Yes, before you could spell your name. Yes, the John Travolta Scientology movie with the camera angles all like this. I'm like, who the hell shot this movie? Apparently the camera is crooked. This movie's just stupid. Everyone knows this movie's stupid. John Travolta, Barry Pepper, Forrest Whitaker. This stupid alien invasion movie, these aliens don't even look like aliens, they have dreadlocks and nose clips. I'm like, oh my god, the big hands, the effects, the makeup, the costumes, ridiculous. The action is ridiculous. The acting is beyond over the top. The story makes little to no sense. The ending really makes no sense with the explosion. I'm like, well, how did that happen? This movie, everyone says it's the dumbest science fiction film ever made, and they're right. Coming number 3 is I Know Who Killed Me. Yes, Lindsay Lohan. I like Lindsay Lohan. I really do. I thought she was a talent. Not anymore, but she was. I loved A Prairie Home Companion, The Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, Mean Girls. Those are all really good movies. This was the downfall of Lindsay Lohan. This is an awful movie. This is supposed to be a horror movie. It's not scary at all. It's not well done. Again, the editing is so choppy. Lindsay Lohan is god-awful. Everyone is awful. The story makes no fucking sense. The ending makes no fucking sense. Nothing about this movie makes any fucking sense. And, the fact that there was a fan base, not much, but there was a bit of a fan base when this came out. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Nothing about this movie works. The twist doesn't work. The scares don't work. The shots. There's no atmosphere. There's no chills and scares. This is probably one of the worst horror movies ever made. It is up there. But I don't even declare this movie a horror movie. Sometimes it's like a romance or a thriller. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't think this movie knows what it is. This movie is just awful. One of the worst movies ever made. Coming number 2 is Glitter. Yes, Glitter. Mariah Carey made a movie. Why the fuck did this happen? This is all I gotta say about this movie. This is the only thing I have to say about it. Next movie. And the number 1 worst movie of the 2000s is Dragon Ball Evolution. 2009's Dragon Ball Evolution. I think most people can agree with me that this movie is absolute shit. This is a disgrace to Dragon Ball Z, to Dragon Ball, to everything. Even GT, and GT's not even that good. I love Dragon Ball Z. Everyone knows that I love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is something I grew up with. Dragon Ball as well. And I love it. I love that they brought it back with these Dragon Ball Z movies, with Resurrection F, Battle of the Gods, and now we have Dragon Ball Z Super, which is really good. This movie is awful, though. This is so bad. James Wong did an awful job directing this movie. He does an okay job with Final Destination, but with the Dragon Ball Z movie, he had no idea what the fuck he was doing. The acting is awful. Justin Chatwin as Goku, I don't know who thought of that. Chow Yun-fat as Master Roshi is great casting, but he's not directed properly. That's why he's so bad in this movie. Like, Emmy Rossum as Bulma, she's awful. Like, everyone's awful. James Marsden is the only one that's trying, but even he's not that good, but he's trying. He's trying. The only thing that's good about this movie is the look of the Dragon Balls. They look okay, but the story makes no sense. There's nothing about this movie that is, like, it ties into the show at all. Goku never went to high school. Goku didn't meet Bulma when he was 18. He met him as a child. He has no tail. So how does he turn into the monkey at the end? It makes no fucking sense. Nothing about this movie makes sense. And it's not at all loyal to the source material. I felt like this movie just didn't give a shit. It didn't give a shit about the source material. Didn't give a shit about its fans. It just wanted to make a movie with Dragon Ball in the title, just to make money, and I'm glad this movie bombed, and I'm glad everyone hated it, because this movie's a disgrace, and hands down, the worst movie of the 2000s. So yeah, that was my top 10 worst movies of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2009. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me your top 10 worst movies of the 2000s. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to his channel, and join the dark side.